Thank you guys for clicking on another video. Today we're going to be talking about Sam Darnold and where he's going to end up in a trade, and if Darnold still has hope to be a good quarterback in the National Football League, and what he needs to succeed and revitalize his NFL career. Before we hop into the content of today's video, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it. We're on the road to 500 subscribers and every single one helps. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And with all that being said, let's hop into the video about Sam Darnold. A report came out earlier this month that the Jets will answer calls about possibly trading away quarterback Sam Darnold. A little bit after the report came out, Adam Schefter noted that the Jets aren't turning away calls for Darnold, but they also haven't made a final decision about what quarterback they're going to go with next year and into the future. The Jets hold the second overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft, and they have chances to draft Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, any quarterback they really believe in, they can take at that number 2 spot and roll with for the future. Darnold has shown moments in his NFL career that really, makes you turn your head. He's made some high-level throws, he's had some really high moments, but he's also had his fair share of low moments, and that is why the debate is should the Jets keep Darnold or move on with another quarterback. Darnold did not have a good year last year. He battled through a shoulder injury, and we all know that the team around him and the Jets as a team as a whole were not very good. He only completed 59.6% of his passes, threw for 2,208 yards, had 9 interceptions to 11 interceptions, so he didn't even have a positive touchdown interception ratio, which is never good. The year before that, Darnold was probably coming off the best year of his career when he had 19 touchdowns to 13 interceptions with newly acquired coach Adam Gase, who many, critiqued him, rightfully so, but it is worth noting that his best year was in 2019 with Adam Gase. Another issue with Darnold is he's never played more than 13 games in a season. He's always, had some sort of mishap, whether it's mono, whether it's a shoulder injury, and that's another topic for another day. But Darnold has dealt with some injuries and some off the field problems where he's not been able to perform and be on the field to play, and that's also to be taken into consideration when deciding if he should be returning to the Jets. Every single year of his career, he's had some issue where he's missed games and the team had to rely on, not a very good backup, which has costed them. So I'm sure that is a part of the decision whether or not to bring Darnold back is his availability. It's reported that there are 8 teams that are trying to acquire about the quarterback. We don't know the exact 8 teams, but we can kind of guess that it's going to be the Bears, the Washington football team, the 49ers, maybe the Panthers, the Steelers. Those are some of the teams that I think would be included into that list. Many have raised the question, what is Sam Darnold going to require? What is it going to take to get him in a trade? And that's kind of a point of argument. Many people see Darnold as a guy that has a lot of potential. He's still only going to be 24 years old when the season starts. He's shown some great moments. He was an early first-round pick a couple years ago, and maybe he can, with the right coaching, revitalize his career and be as successful as many thought he was going to be coming out of college. And other people see it as, he's had 3 years, he hasn't done much. He's still very turnover-prone. He makes a lot of mental mistakes. Maybe this guy just isn't quite cut up for playing in the NFL. But according to Peter King of NBC, he wrote a column where it said that he's going to be at least worth a high second-round pick. So a team maybe like the Broncos that didn't make the playoffs, that could be considered a high second-round pick. Most of the teams that are going to be trading for Darnold, they don't really have high picks because they are a lot of playoff teams like the Bears, Washington football team, Steelers. A lot of those teams are playoff teams, so they do not have, very high picks, but it may require a second and a fifth, something like that. But at the very minimum, it's going to cost a second-round pick for a team trying to get Sam Darnold. Right now, the betting odds for Darnold, where he's going to play next year, it still has the Jets as the favorite at plus 200, and then tied at plus 400 are the Bears and Washington football team. But with the new additions of Ryan Fitzpatrick and Andy Dalton, I don't know if it's likely that those are the places he's going to be traded to now. They got their quarterback ones for the next upcoming year. Are they going to put more assets into a quarterback this offseason? I just don't see that as a likely scenario. So I think those will be updated, and those 2 teams won't be the top of the list for the odds. And the team on this list that makes the most sense to me is probably the 49ers, who have been kind of flirting with getting rid of Garoppolo for a couple months now. They've dealt with a lot of injuries from their quarterback as well, and they're trying to replace him with somebody younger, somebody cheaper, and somebody that maybe has more potential or upside than him. And that sounds pretty close to what Darnold, has. Another team that could potentially trade if they get rid of Russell Wilson is the Seattle Seahawks. It's reported that Pete Carroll has a high opinion of Darnold. and if they deal Russell Wilson, he could be the replacement for that team. That could be an interesting spot for Darnold, but I still see no chance that Russell Wilson is traded. You're not going to be trading a top 5 quarterback. That would just be one of the craziest trades to ever happen in the NFL, and I just don't see that happening where Russell Wilson is traded. We're going to have to wait and see on that one, but I do not see Darnold ending up at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are kind of limited on assets as well. With the Jamal Adams trade, they don't have the first round picks. So if they were going to make a trade for Darnold, maybe the Jets don't want, a low-end second-round pick. It may require more than that for the Seahawks. So for the scenario to really even happen, they're going to have to get rid of Russell Wilson and his large contract to a team who's willing to trade for him. And we all know there's multiple teams out there willing to trade for Russell Wilson. I just don't see a scenario where the Seahawks are open and willing to trading their top 5 quarterback in the league in his prime. But I don't think the Seahawks are a likely scenario on this one either. Of course, there's still the possibility that the Jets bring Darnold back. Over the past couple weeks, though, that likelihood has become less popular amongst the media and people talking with the Jets. ESPN's Rich Kimeny reported last month that the new head coach Robert Saleh and offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur have watched a lot of Sam Darnold tape, and they believe he has untapped potential. The Jets still very much value what Darnold has as far as arm talent and his ability to play the position and make plays. They just have to decide if they rather build around him or get a new quarterback. The first interview where Saleh was hired for the Jets, the media asked him about Darnold, and he gave an answer that they need to go through free agency, they need to review the roster and look at every single position before they make a decision on their quarterback. I ultimately think the Jets are going to restart the clock and take Zach Wilson in the upcoming draft. Darnold was not drafted by Douglas, he was not drafted by Saleh, and they're going to want their own guy to come in there and restart the clock for waiting on a young quarterback to develop and look pretty solid in the league. Next year's quarterback class isn't super talented. This is a pretty deep quarterback class when it comes to guys that are available to take with the first round pick that are supposed to be, top rated prospects. Next draft, there's not too many guys that, people are jumping out of their chairs for. There's probably Sam Howell is going to be the top quarterback. And Sam Howell would not be a top 3, top 4 quarterback in this draft. There's just no way he would be that high rated on this draft class. So this goes to my point where if the Jets are looking to restart the clock, they really need to do it this draft because the next couple drafts, they do not have that many good quarterbacks coming out. And it would be a big mistake to keep Darnold, then get rid of him next season, and then have to replace him with a guy that's not as good. You could have gotten somebody better in the past draft. I think the most likely and best scenario for Sam Darnold is to actually go to the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is probably one of the best, if not the best, offensive mind in the National Football League. He's built a fantastic offense, and no matter who he has out there, who's injured, and we all know the 49ers battled so many injuries last year, he still had one of the best offenses in the league, especially, running the ball. He somehow always formulates a great running plan. And for a young quarterback who's only 24 years old, if you can develop a solid run game and just play action, you can make any quarterback look pretty decent back there. And we all know Darnold has the talent and the ability. If he can just get some coaching to, have less turnovers, I think it could be a good fit for him. They have some good weapons there. They have George Kittle, they got Brandon Ayuk, they got Deebo Samuel. They have a lot of young talent on that team. We all know that they just shored up the offensive line. They got the left tackle Trent Williams back, gave him an absolute bag. And of course, they still have a solid defense, so Darnold wouldn't have to do it all by himself. And when it comes to an offense, it's a similar West Coast type style offense. He's gonna have to make quick decisions, get the ball out quick. That could help Darnold make less mistakes, and it could really, help him play in the flow of things. And I think this could be a great place for Darnold to actually go. I guess the 49ers are gonna have to decide if they want to stick with Garoppolo. Garoppolo, he knows the offense. He's been in that system, a couple years now. He's probably gonna be able to perform better than Darnold is right now. But if you give Darnold a year or two, is Garoppolo going to be really that much better than Darnold? We don't know that. Sam Darnold has more talent than Garoppolo. He definitely has a better arm, and he's more mobile in the pocket. He's a better playmaker, but I think Garoppolo plays within the offense a little bit better. He doesn't make as many mistakes, and I think maybe that's why the 49ers may look to keep him. Darnold has a way less expensive contract, and also a lot younger than Garoppolo. So the 49ers just have to make a decision if they're willing to give up a second-round pick for a young quarterback. They don't need to get rid of Garoppolo if they do make this trade. They can keep Garoppolo for this upcoming year and just let Darnold kind of learn behind him. Pick up the offense and go into year 2 of being at the 49ers and then take over as the starter. I think that's the best scenario for Sam Darnold and to revitalize his career. The 49ers have a lot of pieces on that team, and they just need a solid quarterback to be making playoff pushes every single year. And they have the right coach to kind of coach up Darnold and work on his mistakes, because we've seen Kyle Shanahan be successful with multiple quarterbacks now. Matt Ryan, he went to the 49ers, he did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows how to put a successful offense together, and I think that's what Sam Darnold needs. He needs a coach to believe believe in him and build something around him, and we haven't really seen that before with the Jets coaches and Todd Bowles and Adam Gase. 49ers would have weapons that Darnold has never seen before. Darnold has probably had debatably some of the worst weapons any, young quarterback has had, entering the career for the first 3 years. He's had second to nothing playing for the Jets. And the 49ers already have some good pieces in place, and I think that could really help Darnold, his development into a solid quarterback. We'll see if the 49ers make this trade. We'll have to wait and see if the 49ers will give up a second-round pick. I think this could be great for both parties. The Jets move on from the quarterback. They still get a good price back. They get a solid pick. And the 49ers get a young quarterback to kind of build around. You can learn behind Garoppolo, maybe develop into something great with the help of Kyle Shanahan. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of Darnold and him going to the 49ers. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.